Join us for a very special episode of the BMW X3. Let's go. Please subscribe to us if you haven't done so far, and thanks again for all long-term subscribers. Here in the front, the BMW X3 in this new generation has this wider double kidney, so pretty strong stance on the road, but overall a rather conservative design, I think we can say that. Then the headlamps, they have a nice daytime running light, and not for the base version, but starting with the X line, then you get LED as standard. Optional, you can get those adaptive LED lights. And they have a little bit more elaborate functions. 4.70 m, 185 inches, or 15'4" is the length here of the BMW X3, and what a great panoramic view. By the way, this one here is about 27 centimeters longer than the BMW X1, because here you can also fit the 6-cylinder engines, so you see this longer hood right there. Those ones are the 19-inch wheels, so it's somewhat in between. You can get smaller ones, but you can also get the bigger ones. Sometimes it's really hard to differentiate all those SUVs in the BMW lineup, and also with other brands, of course. And here the X3 has rather, big tail lamp still, whereas the X5 has more horizontally drawn and even more in this three-dimensional effect there, so you can differentiate them from the rear. What about engines? Either 2-liter 4-cylinders or 3-liter 6-cylinder engines. And we start here with the 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, either as the 20i with 184 horsepower. And then, more relevant for the US, would be the 30i. Here today also 252 horsepower, 6.3 seconds to 100 kilometers an hour, or 6 seconds to 60 miles an hour. And then there's the M40i, the 3-liter R6, or inline 6-cylinder, 360 horsepower, 4.8 seconds then to 100 kilometers or 62 miles an hour. On the diesel side, that's not relevant for the US, but just to mention also for our other guys, it's either the 2-liter 4-cylinder with 190 or 213 horsepower, or the 3-liter inline 6 diesel with 265 or the 326 horsepower, then in the M40D. You can also get Centertech seats in the US for the X3 in black or beige, for example. Then we are animal friendly and still got the slick surface you can wipe clean, and it's also high grade. And in Europe, for example, you also get a fabric seat as base, so different choices available. Then the steering wheel, you can see here with the heated function as well, left side for cruise control, and the right side would be to adjust the volume. And there you can already see something of those mix between digital and analog gauges. Soon more details to that. And when we get inside now, the cool thing about the X3 is mid-size SUV, at least for European tastes. And then you already have this upright seating position here, the real SUV feeling. Steering wheel can be adjusted manual like this, by the way. So up and down, also in and out. Nice shifting pedals with a good feel. So this automatic gearbox, then you can also manual control it, so to say. And if you compare it to the X1 rather compact style, crossover feeling. This one here already true SUV feeling. Good long-term comfort also, no lower back pain also for tall people. 1 meters 86 or 6'1". Still some headroom left, although we have the panoramic roof installed. Soon going to show that too. And well, if you compare it to the X5 then, thinking about that, yeah, of course you pay more money. The X5 even bigger, sit even higher. Yes, it's a little bit more comfortable on a very long journeys. However, this one then, you can get also along in the city a little bit better because a little bit shorter of a vehicle. So yeah, it's a trade-off always. Interior overview, here also rather classic setup, even with the CD or DVD entry right there. Volume knob, and then the climate unit, also pretty classic, and I really like that to have that to control everything while driving quite easily, so not everything has to go into a screen. But there we go with the widescreen format. Nice GPS map as well, and you can also use white touch, or still with the lower control knob right there, the classic one. You can also use it for writing addresses also, but that already works also with the voice input. So what do I mean by mix and analog of digital in this case? Well, those ones here, those aluminum rings, they are analog. This is the real thing. You can touch them actually. And then everything else is screen. In this case, really with the X1, for example, or X2, it's a little bit different. There are, there are letters which are illuminated from the back, but this case, this is really a screen, not only in the middle. And here we go, like with the RPMs, for example. When I shut off the car and then also open the door, you see what I mean? There we go, and then you can see it's a screen. The head-up display, it's actually bigger than it appears here for the speed and allowed speed and also some GPS information. Really helpful option always that you can keep everything in the line of sight. So, infotainment system up close. I can control it with the lower control knob, as I said earlier. There you can also see already one of the very realistic MPG figures. Then the GPS. I really like the software, is doing a great job here at the National Park at the moment. Park Boulevard, yeah, beautiful name. And it has a very good visualization. There's the CarPlay connection here, wireless, and you see the integration right here. This is the main menu, so it does not go all the way over the screen, and that's the way you always can go back to the BMW menu. As for the rear compartment, let's enter right there. Easy entry, Isofix at the outside seats each, and well, it does exactly fit here for 4 tall adults. Still have some knee room left here. Well, what about the trunk area? Electric tailgate right here, and we left it as a road trip trunk today, so you can see how it's going on when everything is fully packed. Well, this top cover here, you have to raise it down a little bit, so you have to be careful, and that's it. And yeah, you can see how much stuff there is fitting in there. This is also special for the US spec here. If you want a replacement tire, then you have this additional lip. In the EU spec, it would be just all the way flat because there's usually not a replacement tire in there. So guys, I told you we're going somewhat special today, and therefore we'll start our driving moderation here in the Joshua Tree National Park. And you also have some soft off-road situations here, and of course, I want to do that. And actually I deactivate the ESC now and also put it to sport mode so we can get a little bit loose. But of course, I'm not here for racing. But still, then you can find out a little bit more about the off-road capabilities of this car. And here when I'm like this here. Yeah, I just love that, So I hope you also saw it on camera. So there you could see this rear wheel bias of this all-wheel drive. It's just working when you have the ESC offense on and then sports mode, and then you could bring the rear of the car a little bit around this corner there. Really beautiful, and yeah, that's really cool. And it has a great traction, definitely. Of course, when you have those controls deactivated, you can, let's say, swim a little bit on this, rock sandy ground right there, just a little bit. But this car also in soft off-road situation really gives you a very good neutral balance handling feeling. So you always feel very safe. Of course, there are always laws of physics. This, by the way, this pretty hard ground sometimes, and there are those waves that form out when the cars drive over them and over again, similar to braking bumps, especially when like very heavy cars or trucks run over those. then they're building those tracks. Experienced those ones also on those desert roads quite some time all over the world. So it's really fun to drive some soft off-road here. Very, very cool. Well, there's another junction right there. So you can even decide, where just where you want to go, So when I'm driving off-road, of course, some cars have those off-road modes which draw back the stability controls. Some others then, also watch the birds here. Some others can also deactivate the ESC completely with button. Here you have like an ESC on, then you have a traction mode that draws back a little bit, and then you can get it actually to off, but I'm not actually sure it's like really off. That's always the question. It depends also on the vehicle, if it's like 100% or if there's still something left, so to say. But definitely a lot of fun here in those soft off-road situations as well. Of course, when you're on the road, and probably also when you're normal doing off-road, best is always to leave the ESC on just for the maximum of safety. What I want to also show you is this overdrive again when we do an acceleration from a standstill, just how much power I can put on the ground even when there's loose ground. And here it was like 0 to 30 miles an hour and just very quickly, and there was no traction loss whatsoever, although everything, ESC and so, everything was deactivated, and I'm even in the sports mode. So this is really good how the power is being distributed to front and rear axle. So, a little bit leaning corner, a lot of fun here definitely, and this also stresses again one of my points about the X3. It's one of those mid-size SUVs which gives you the most driving fun. And indeed, it feels a little bit smaller and more agile than an X5. That would be one advantage if you think about comparing this one here to some bigger models. And now, before we head back to LA, some road driving here from the national park, which is also very cool. The tarmac here, by the way, is quite rough. Therefore, don't wonder if it sounds a little bit louder than it would usually do. But the noise insulation in general is really cool with this car. I really wanted to give you this scenic look here when driving. This is really amazing. You can also set the cruise control here on the left side of the steering wheel, now at the moment to 35 miles an hour. And then there's also this assisted mode where also, the steering is being overtaken, but that's mainly thought for the motorway, so it doesn't work here at the moment. And also then usually at higher speeds, and you can see like a green steering wheel in the head-up display when it's working. Now we can actually also put it higher to 45 miles an hour. Again, it stays really silent here, good noise insulation, and it gives you a very calm and collected driving feeling. Wow, what a scenic look here. This is really cool. A natural steering feeling as well. There's also no dead area or something. And I can also, when we have a straight road, I'll come to a stop and then I can show something of the acceleration. At the moment we're going downhill, it would be a little bit biased there for sure. The adaptive cruise control is working very well. It tested it on the highways also earlier. So it really keeps the distance to the cars in a very good way. And the adaptive suspension is doing a great job. So when you go into sports mode, feel it stiffer, feel the bumps in the road and so on. And comfort really evens it out, makes it smooth. And you have the choice then, if you have this optional adaptive suspension, which is really a cool thing. Again, optional for the X3 and would be standard for the X5. Show you something of the acceleration. There's no one behind us. Just like 0 to 35 miles an hour, and you can see how fast the speed is being picked up. Plop, that's already it. That was already 40, so of course reducing the speed immediately. So you see, you don't lack any power from this 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, so that wouldn't be the reason to go for the 6-cylinder. The 6-cylinder just feels a little bit more refined. You can drive it at lower RPMs, and it also sounds a little bit better. And yeah, fuel economy won't be a big difference actually, because you're turning those RPMs a little bit higher than in the smaller engines. But again, lower entry price, of course, for the 4-cylinders. That would be, one of the main reasons to go for that one. And now to the conclusion for today with the BMW X3 S30i xDrive. And great landscape here today, so really enjoyed that. I hope you did that as well. Actually, it's twice great landscape and something very, very different. So the X3 sits very well between the X1 and also the X5. And of course always those coupe counterparts they also have. And it's really, when the X5 is too big for you, but you still want a little bit more comfort and always this upright SUV driving position in comparison to the X1. Also the Mercedes GLC would be a high competitor, and also the Audi Q5. This one here, the Q3, the one with the most driving fun, natural steering feeling and so on. That's what I really like about this car. And it's also comfortable on longer journeys already, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, still high in the price. Yeah, I think we also have to live with that. On the interior, quite conservative, but they really stepped up the game with this new generation. Not with the latest voice control management they have there, but already, you can do something of that. And the styling here with a bigger double kidney, already quite strong. But everything, sits a little bit in the middle, doesn't want to scream out too much. So has also some kind of understatement, this vehicle. Adaptive suspension is also one of the best things you can get for this car, and really offers a great compromise of sportiness and comfort with this one. So, what do you think? Would you go for a 4-cylinder or a 6-cylinder? Yeah, the 4-cylinder is enough. The 6-cylinder, however, would offer you a little bit more refinement, a little bit more fun as well, but it's not necessarily higher in the fuel consumption. So it's more about than the entry price. Now join us in the comments about this vehicle and also about the concept of this, landscape beauty shot episode for today. See you next time.